Hey guys, welcome to Flat Top King. Hey, today is all about a smoked massive porterhouse with some over easy eggs. Absolutely fantastic. Watch how we do it. All right, to get this puppy started, as you can see, we've got a massive, and I mean massive, T-bone steak. So they're on sale at our local grocery store. And let me tell you the great thing about a T-bone steak. Although it's not my favorite, the bang for the buck is there. I choose to get the porterhouse style, which means your fillet is going to be thicker. It's going to be bigger. And then obviously this is your strip. The reason why we have them cut it this thick is two reasons. One, I feel like you get 3 steaks out of one, okay? You really get a nice size portion fillet, okay? That's really like a standard style, probably 8-ounce, my guess, fillet. And being so thick that typically you could cut this strip in half, and both people are having nice style strips instead of like thinner. The other benefit, you're able to smoke it longer to hear more flavor, and you can bring it up to temperature slowly, and you can sear it harder because the thinner your steaks are, the less cooking time you have, obviously. So since the steak is that big, I'm going to take Diamond Crystal Kosher salt. Not liberally, but just generously. I am going to just season the meat. There's no reason to season the fat because the fat's not going to penetrate it. What are you going to say?
Do we know what the weight is on that steak? I think it was
2.7 pounds.
2.7 pounds.
Yep, that's with the bone. I've always said get friends with your butchers because sometimes you can get special cuts. I had talked to him a few days ago when I knew these were going on sale. And I said, hey, I want a nice size porterhouse. He said, I got you. So he cut it and I picked it up the next day. So I didn't have to wait in line or anything like that. There we go. Okay, so this is going to go on a rack. Just like that. That salt's going to penetrate through the meat, and then we'll give it a few hours and come back out and start the smoker.
Is it going in the fridge?
This, yes. All right, as you can see, the salt has penetrated the meat. We got a little moisture, so what I'm gonna do is just dab it up a little bit, get that moisture off of there. I have seen the last several months an absolute ton of people talk about this sauce right here. And my neck of the woods has been extremely hard to find. I was in a local store just recently and I found it and I grabbed it off the shelf. I've already opened the bottle, I've tasted it, very impressed. So that was that's half the caveat of this video. The other one was while on vacation, we had steak and eggs and I fell in love with it. I mean, it was done the right way. Like sometimes you get those like really thin steaks and the eggs. This is a true steak and eggs. All right, I'm just gonna try this because all the hype around it. So I'm gonna just do a light binder. Remember that salt kind of draws out the exterior. And especially when you dab that moisture off, there's not a lot of moisture for that seasoning to stick. You can always use a high heat oil or something like that. All right, my basis of seasonings, I like to layer seasonings, smash that. I'm talking about maybe about 25%.
Remember, it's a big piece of meat.
Right.
So
and there's salt in there too. So shake because it's a good all-purpose salt, pepper, garlic, and butter. That just sounds like it's supposed to go on a steak. Go heavier with that, about 50%. And then I know you think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you, once you get it, you'll understand. This was a homemade version. Our barbecue seasoning.
Coming out
extremely soon.
Very soon.
By the time they get this video, it's gonna be extremely soon. All right, I'm gonna flip it over and do the other side. All right, we got our pellet smoker running about 225 degrees. Oh, boy. All right, the hottest part of the smoker is right here. I'm gonna go about 3/4 over, somewhere right through here. I'm gonna go bone side towards the fire, just like that. Now we're gonna smoke it to an internal temperature of about 100 and maybe 15 degrees. We like our steaks a little bit more on the rare to medium rare. Here's a tip I can give you. I have seen on other channels, I'm not disputing this at all, this is my personal opinion. that there seems like to be a standard of how much you bring your steaks up to if you want it medium rare. Like let's say, you know, it's almost like everybody says, bring it up to 125 and then sear it, because then you'll get to 135. I think that's overcooking the steak at a medium temperature. I would much rather have a bigger, thicker piece of meat like we have, and I'd bring it up to about 110 to 115 max. Very little carryover, but when you bring it up that high of a temperature and you're trying to hit that medium, I think it doesn't sear as well on the griddle or a cast iron skillet because it happens so fast. So if you don't smoke it as long up in the temperature column, you're allowed to get that deeper Maillard reaction, which is basically what we all want. I love the smoke factor, which is why I like to do this. But ultimately, if you want that great Maillard reaction, keep it at a lower temperature. Even if you like a medium, maybe you bring it up to 115, 120, and then you can sear it more often on a harder griddle, and that Maillard reaction is really going to help for you. So just remember that. Sometimes when you see people say bring it up to 120, 125, they sear it for like 30 seconds on each side. I'd rather back that temperature down and sear it longer to get that deeper Maillard reaction. Just a personal preference.
Better crust.
Yeah. Ooh, it's that type of day. That type of day. All right. We got the griddle cranked up. We got it on high. We got these 2 burners on high. We're gonna use that residual heat off to the side to cook our eggs. So I should be shooting about 525, 550. It's about 512. We can deal with that. All right. Paper towels. If you notice after you're done smoking, you have a lot of moisture, just take a paper towel, kind of dab it, get the sides really good because we're going to make sure that we render that fat out. And you can see our seasoning's sticking nicely, not a lot of moisture, so that's what we're looking for, okay? I'm going to use some smoked beef tallow. This is going to situate that flavor. You can use regular beef tallow. At as a high of a temperature this griddle is right now, I would probably steer away from butter. Butter's going to burn a lot faster, so maybe a high temp oil. And then you can always baste it with butter if you need to.
Like avocado oil?
Yep. My heavy duty presser, masher, whatever. And I'm not mashing. I just want the weight of the thingamajigger, this big old thing here. Thank you. Just to have, I was thinking about pressing it down. I just want that weight to get all the circumference, all the area of the steak to touch the griddle.
How long does it stay on that side?
Well, there's really not a rhyme or reason. Depending on what kind of seasonings you use, that's probably going to determine how long it stays on there, because some seasonings have more sugar content than others. Scrape that off of there. Work with a clean surface. Let that griddle heat back up for a second. Maybe find a new landing zone, like maybe a little bit more over here. Oh yeah, see that right there? So I'm looking to bring mine up to about 125 degrees. We're gonna let it rest on the same cooling rack as 115. But I'm also gonna make sure that I flip the sides. I want the sides of this, especially that large fat cap, to be able to render. That's where a lot of flavor's at. Maybe underneath here. This is looking good. Looking good. As you can see, some beautiful Maillard reaction. A little burnt crispies. That's something we enjoy. That right there is a perfectly cooked steak. All right, we're letting it rest, but the wind is blowing like crazy, right? It's extremely cold outside. It's about 45, 47 degrees. I know you're thinking, oh, it gets colder where I'm at. Trust me, when it comes to food and the wind's blowing that hard, it's going to cool it down in a hurry. Use that to your advantage. You can always put this back in your smoker on the lowest temp. You can throw it in the oven, throw it in the microwave. Obviously, it's metal. Be careful. Don't use a microwave. It just protects that dome system, right, to keep the meat warm. So when you get started, the grill's calmed down. I've turned one side off. Remember, I only had 2 on. So now we're looking for some, we're just going to do some over medium eggs, over easy eggs. That's too hot. Remember, it's residual heat. And that's what I'm looking for right there. Look how brown that gets in a hurry. See how brown that gets? And look how soft that butter is. We always teach you, butter can tell you a lot of things in a hurry. And that is no different. So this is 100% leftover residual heat.
From searing off the steak.
Yes. I mean, the griddle got up to about 600 degrees, so that's the good thing about the Halo. It has incredible heat retention. See just the difference of how you hear that sound versus that. Mirror those flavors.
Honey, don't make it mad.
That's a big one. See the difference? See how hot that side of the griddle is coming down from searing those steaks? I'm showing you that because that way you can understand. Most griddles do this. Just because your griddle's off doesn't mean that it doesn't have enough heat to do it. There's a lot of griddles out there that we actually recommend you got to bring your temperature up or down to cook the eggs at the right temperature. So that's what we're trying to show you. Look how big that fillet is. That alone is just a single person fillet. The price, I think, was this, what, $7.98?
$7.98 a pound.
Yeah, so that's a $8 fillet right there. Or I guess it was
Less
half a
than
pound.
that,
That's a
probably.
$4 fillet right there, yeah. Now, like I said, this strip is big enough for 2 people. Ultimately, I'm gonna eat all of it.
That's okay, I've already picked out my bite. I want that bite on the fillet with the fat. Cut me that little piece right there. That's my piece.
That's gonna mess up the presentation. You better hold your horses, sister. This is how it was served to us. They had a nice little garnish of like little tomatoes on the side. I got some sourdough toast.
Oh, when we went on vacation, you're talking about.
And there you go. A beautiful done T-bone steak for about 15 people. We're gonna make it into about 1.5 people. Eggs on the side, any way you like it. A great combination to use your smoker, use your griddle. We showed you the high heat of the Halo plus the low heat capability to be able to cook eggs. Fantastic it is. Let's dive in. I'm sure my reaction is gonna be obvious. The fat cap. That W sauce is good. You can actually taste it come through.
That is good.
There's that filet. A little bit of fat and filet, which is always a good thing. There's probably right there the crown jewel. Save that bone for the T-bone. You know, you should be saving your bones anyways, if you want to. It's a great way. It's already got that smoke flavor. Got a little extra flavor because of some of the meat on there, plus all the fat. Christmas around the corner, we'll be making a nice beef stock, and that would definitely be put into it. Just an idea. I'm looking forward to it. All right, if you guys are interested, we have a join button down below.
Fantastic steak.
Yeah. If you guys are interested, we have a join button. It's a membership program. We can thank each and every one of you for taking time for doing so. You can check us out on the Griddle Group on Facebook as we talk about griddles. Smokers obviously are catching up, and between the both of them, they can make some fantastic food. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to press that subscribe button, pound the notification button, share with your friends. That dang filet.
Give me that bite.